Our last geometry unit is on surface area and volume of different figures. The first 2 days we're going to focus on different types of prisms. And for all these prisms, we have the same formulas for surface area and volume. Surface area is the sum of the lateral faces and the bases. You can think of it as how much wrapping paper would it take to wrap my object. And to get the surface area of a prism, we take our perimeter of the base, P, we multiply it to the height, and then add it to 2 times the area of the base. And my first step in these is always to identify my base. Identify. And you can think this makes sense. The reason it's 2 times your base is it's happening kind of on the bottom and the top of the figure, and then the other is giving me the surface area of going around the figure. For volume, you have the amount of space enclosed in the interior of a 3-dimensional object. How much does it take to fill the object? We're still going to have our area of our base, and we multiply that to our height of the prism. So when I look at these first ones, these are rectangular prisms, and you probably know the volume formula as length times width times height, which is true for a rectangular prism, but we're going to just try to use the same ones all throughout. So for a rectangular prism, if we're wanting to do volume equals the area of the base times the height. So I need the area of my base I need to identify, and my height I need to identify. So your base in this is a rectangle, and the area of that is 8 times 3, 24. And then my height is 4 square root 2. So to find my volume, I'm going to do 24 times 4 square root 2, which is going to give me 96 square root of 2. Next, we're going to find the surface area. So to do surface area, we want to write our surface area formula, which is perimeter of the base times height plus 2 times the area of the base. So perimeter of the base, well, helps if we identify where the base is. There we go. So perimeter of the base is going to be, if you can do it in your head, that's fine. 9 happens twice, plus 2 happens twice. Or if we want, I'm going to put up here, perimeter is 2 length plus 2 width, if you don't remember that. So I get P equals 18 plus 4. So my perimeter is 22. So my surface area equals 22 times my height is 7, and then plus 2 times the area of my base. Area of my base is length times width, would be 9 times 2, and I know you can do a lot of this in your head. I'm just writing it out, times 18. So that is going to give me 190. Looking at number 3, a rectangular prism has a volume, so V, equals 64, with an area of the base, so that's capital B, is 16 units, and I want to find the height. So I want to know what is H. For these, it can often help to write down your formula. So if volume equals my base, area of my base times my height, they gave me volume is 64, my base is 16, so all I need to do is divide by 16, and that will give me that my height equals 4. Number 4, the base of a rectangular prism has a length of 7 centimeters, so length is 7, width of 3, and a height of 9. find the surface area. So for surface area, I need a different formula. Our surface area formula, once again, is perimeter times height plus 2 times the area of the base. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute in the area that they gave me, or sorry, the height that they gave me, which is 9 plus 2b. So the things that I need to know are my perimeter and area of my base. So I'm going to draw a picture. To draw a rectangular prism, if you don't know, just draw 2 rectangles kind of offset from each other and then connect the vertices. So length is 7, width is 3, height is 9. And now it's like the problem up at the top. So my perimeter is going to be 2 times 3 plus 2 times 7, which is 6 plus 14, 20. And then the area of my base is 3 times 7, which is 21. And once I simplify that, I get that my surface area is 222. Now we're moving on to cubes. Cubes, you might be able to just notice some other patterns that make your life shorter, which is totally fine if you want to do that. For instance, for a cube, that means each of the faces has the same area. So we could just find the area of each face. In this case, we have a base edge of 10. So the area of one face would be 100. How many faces do I have? 6. So my volume would be 600, and technically meters squared, but we'll let that one go. If we want to do volume, then we have our length times width times height, and they just all happen to be the same. So 13, 13, 13, so 13 cubed, which would be 2,197. All right. Find the surface area of a cube with a base edge of 8 millimeters. So 8, 8, 8. So we want surface area. So I just need the area of one of these, which would be 8 times 8 is 64. And then I have 6 faces, so times 6. And 64 times 6 is going to give me 384. Find the volume of a cube with a base edge of 7. 7, 7, 7. So that's going to be 7 cubed, which is 343. So with cubes, we could use those formulas, or we could just kind of think through the situation. Triangles, or rather, triangular prisms. Okay, so number 1 says for us to find the surface area. So formula for surface area of a prism is perimeter of the base times height plus 2 times area of the base. So we want to use the triangle is our base, okay? So for me to find perimeter of that shape, I obviously have the 8 and the 15, but I need what my hypotenuse is. So what can we do to find the hypotenuse of a right triangle? Pythagorean theorem. This one happens to be a Pythagorean triple. So if you memorize some of those like I said you should, then your life is a lot happier because you have it memorized and you know what the answer is. But if not, it just takes us a couple more seconds and we get that C is 17. So in my formula, surface area equals perimeter, and my perimeter is 8 plus 15 plus 17, which is 40. Then my height is what I haven't used yet, which is 12 plus 2 times my area of my base, and let's see, I've used a lot of colors. I'm going to skip way down here and do my work. So the area of my base is 1/2 base times height, 15 and 8, and that's going to give me 60. Plug all that stuff in the calculator, and we get that my surface area is 600. All right, next up, we want to find the volume. So for volume, I need the area of the base times the height. So we need to find where is our base. Our base is the triangle. So I need to find the area of that, which I don't know the height of my base. So I'm going to skip that for a second. And I can plug into my formula that the height of my prism is 4. So I know that we need to find the area of the base. Now, for a triangle, for area, I need to find 1/2 base times height. And my base is obviously 4, but I need to know what my height is. Well, what do you think is going to come up in my life right now? I think special right triangles. Because if all of these sides of the triangle are 4, that means it's what kind of triangle? Equilateral. And if it's equilateral, that means that this base angle is 60 degrees. So what kind of right triangle does this make? It makes a 30, 60, 90. So if I do that, you can do your tic-tac-toe chart. I'm going to skip that step to save time. So if my hypotenuse is 4, that means opposite my 30-degree angle is 2, and my height is 2 square root 3. So height is 2 square root 3. So then I'm going to get that my area of my base is 4 square root 3. So my volume is 16 square root of 3. Last two questions. The base of a triangular prism is an equilateral triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and color that in. Just my equilateral triangle with a side length of 12. And the height is 5. I want to find the surface area. So surface area is the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So surface area, my perimeter is going to be 12 plus 12 plus 12, so 36. My height is 5 plus 2, so I need to find my base. This is like the problem we just did. So we're going to split that up into a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So since the hypotenuse is 12, that means my base right there is 6, multiplied by square root 3. So my base, area of my base is 1/2 base of 12 times a height of 6 square root 3, which is going to give me 36 square root 3. And now we're going to be careful with simplifying, because on this we're going to leave our radical in our answer, so you don't want to squish stuff together. I get 180 plus 72 square root 3. Last, the base of a triangular prism is a right triangle with legs of 6 and 8. A height of the prism is 12. Find the volume. So volume is area of the base times height. Volume equals, my height is 12. And for area of my base, I have 1/2 base of the triangle, 8, times height of the triangle, 6. So I get that my area of my base is 24. And then 24 times 12 is 288.